Alright, so it's October 2021. Astro's got 156,920 miles. And I'm doing transmission fluid change flush. You see the tubing? Well, this is easy job, it's just time consuming. You're gonna need a sharp pick like that to pick the spring. It's a retainer for this line here. That's the transmission line. As you can see, that's the end of it. I'll try to shove my camera in there. So to pull this out, you need to get this little spring wire clip off, and then I use this is a 3/8 outside little PVC pipe I got at Lowe's or Home Depot, and then the hose is 3/8 on the inside, 5/8 on the outside. I just shoved it in there and just run a hose into a container. And with this flushing it out, basically you're sucking all the fluid from the transmission pan till you see air bubbles, then you turn the engine off. So when I dropped the pan, there was nothing in it. It was just a little bit, so it's no big mess like I see guys dropping the pan and just spilling it everywhere, all over the place. As you can see, I got no spills, nothing. There was just a tiny amount of ATF fluid in the transmission pan. It was very easy and clean. Just by turning the engine out and pumping the fluid out through this hose that goes into a radiator. Easy peasy. The longest part was actually cleaning the pan, which was just filthy on the inside, on the outside. Hey boy, he's always helping, always watching, make sure I do a good job. This is the longest job here, cleaning inside, outside. It's a little bit, it's not rust, it's like, I don't know what it is, but I cleaned it as good as I could. Got new filter, seal, gasket. So I got 3 gallons of fluid. Only needs 1, but I'm doing the flush, which basically you just keep adding fluid 1 gallon at a time through the dipstick, and then you turn it on and let the new fluid run through all the transmission and torque converter to flush it all out, so it's all new fluid. I mean, technically to get all new fluid you have to use like 10 gallons of this stuff, but nobody does that. 3 gallons is good enough. Now I'm doing this second time. I did this when it was 75 or 80,000 miles. Now I'm doing it again at 150,000. Now a lot of people just drive this thing 200,000 miles on the original fluid and never change it. So before next road trip, I figure I check everything. I take the belts off, check every bearing, every pulley. I carry spare belts with me anyways. Look what I found. Shredded belt. Basically it was a tiny little rock, white rock stuck in the groove of the tensioner pulley. And this belt was only like 10-20,000 miles on it. I can't remember when I replaced it, but not long ago. And it just shredded the whole belt. I had a spare. I always carry a spare with me. I carry just about everything. I carry all the pulleys, the tensioner pulley, the idler pulley. I carry the belt. I carry a alternator, starter, fuel pump, distributor cap, crank sensor, cam sensor. What else I carry? Anything that can break down and get me stranded on the road. I pretty much carry all these parts. I got air compressor. I got a patch kit. This is all tire patch kit, drills and everything else to patch a tire. I have a spare, but just in case, I usually try to patch one before I throw a spare on. One thing that I absolutely wish everybody carried. These boys. This is to plug your brake line. This saved me twice from being towed. I was in the middle of Nebraska, my Silverado. I blew a tire, rear tire, and the tire exploded, and there's a brake line in behind, you know, going to a drum. Well, this one has drums. That one is a disc brake, and it broke the brake line. So, thankfully I had these suckers. So I just unscrewed a brake line, plugged the hole in, drove all the way home to Chicago. I didn't have brake on the one wheel, and it was a rear wheel, so it doesn't do much braking. 80% of braking is done by the front. Alright, last item today, a fan. It's been on and off for 5 years. Basically, every once in a while you turn the fan on and it doesn't kick in, and I have to go outside and tap it, and then it starts, which means just the brushes are going bad. So I had to replace that. I figure since I'm doing all this other stuff, of course this is here in the corner, and it's covered with this plastic shield that it just broke apart in my hands. And the shield is just to protect the outside of this electric motor, which doesn't make any sense because it's under the hood, but I guess maybe they thought the water would leak down here and they had this protective thing. But to take it off you have to disassemble this whole thing, and this whole thing keeps breaking. The plastic is just shot. See, there's still some pieces. I didn't lift them up. Hold on. See? That was here, like cover. And it just, as you can see, I got a whole bag of it. That was the cover, going all the way around, and it's like clay. Yeah, well, it's 20 years old, so made in Canada. Anyways, I got the new blower in there, got the new belt, got the transmission done, some of the pulleys changed, I got the oil changed. What else I changed? Hold on, let me... Okay, this is the last fluid. I just changed the differential fluid. I did that at, I think, 75,000, so now it's 150. Put Mobile 1 in there. You basically fill it till it pours out of the hole, and that's your level. I forgot to mention, last week I changed the calipers, both sides. New rotor, new bearing, new pads. I changed the ABS sensor on one side. The other side's also done, but I have the wheel on. But you can see all of this is, it's all new here. What else I did? Within a week I've done so much on this van. We're taking a trip that's gonna be 12, maybe 15,000 miles. Gonna be on the road for a couple months. Just want to make sure everything has a proper maintenance done. Well, it's starting to rain. It was sunny 5 minutes ago. Gotta put my dog away. Motorcycle's been running good, no problems. These Kawasaki's are just amazing. I've never done any work to it. I think I picked it up with 7,000 miles, now it's 17,000. And I run them usually to about 60, 65,000, and then they just get too weak. The engines just lose like 30% of the horsepower, which is not much because it's 26 horsepower. It's only 250. But man, you get almost 90 miles to a gallon, so you can't beat it. And it's still faster than most cars. I think it's 4.6 seconds from 0 to 60. So I drop almost all cars, even though it's only 250 cc. On the RV, well, it's been sitting since COVID. We kind of stayed away from RV parks. Hard to boondock in RV with the truck and everything. So it's just been sitting here. I had to reseal all this all the way around everywhere because it started developing cracks in places. So I just put a new sealant. It's just so much easier to travel in the van versus this, you know, this you got a truck, the RV, you got to pay for RV sites because I just don't feel comfortable taking this on some mountain roads, rough roads. I know the truck can make it, but this, you know, you break down, oh, it's gonna cost you a fortune to tow this thing away. So nothing beats van travel.